Hi, I have a blue Digimon deck, and the blue Digimon deck has blue sleeves. And so you can see that it starts here, and it kind of goes through in the top. But with the Battle of Omni Booster set coming out, maybe there's a chance that I can make it better. So this blue deck is, definitely going to say that it's not great, but what it does do is it focuses on destroying the opponent's digivolution cards, and then from there trying to take advantage of it. I think, if you played other card games, I think there's some strategy for how you should think about your cards. One, yes, you do want cards that will remove their digivolutions. So I'm just going to focus on Ikakumon, trash the top digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon when attacking. Inherited effect, that's good. So it removes those digivolution cards if you make it to level 5. But then you also want cards that, so that card removes, right? And then there's cards that take advantage. So Vikemon is where your opponent has a Digimon with no digivolution cards. It gets bigger and security attack +1, and it's a 12. So cards like that are useful. But then you have these cards that are kind of in between. So I have this one, regular Hexeblaumon, trash the bottom digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then if you do, you draw one. So this one's kind of in a weird spot because, yes, it destroys the digivolution cards, but if you play the game, you play several rounds, and then you get up to the level 4, and your other cards have done such a good job of destroying them already that he doesn't have anything to trash, then you don't draw anything. And maybe that's good for some of the other cards in the deck, but like I said, I think there's some nuances that we got to think about when building this deck. And so just to focus on what I have, I have some option cards. So Cocytus Breath is your removal. Sorrow Blue, if something doesn't have the digivolution cards, you freeze them. Hammer Spark, which is just great, especially in security. Death Parade Blaster, which removes a bunch of digivolution cards all at once. The Mat Trainer, which gives you more memory if they have something without digivolution cards. We talked about these. The former level 5s, where Garurumon is inherited, gives security attack +1 if they have something without anything. I do like Mega Seedramon, which is just unblockable by things without digivolution cards. Zuromon on Digivolving trashes 2, which is great. Piranhamon inherited effect is trash the top. And these all do kind of variants of the similar, which is trash digivolution card at the bottom, trash digivolution card at the top. These are inherited effects. I do have the Grizzlymon blocker, so evolve for 2 blocker 6. 6 is pretty strong. My rookies are where I think we could use some improvement. So I do have the Monmon, which is a level 1 blocker, so that's nice. These are vanillas that room to replace, but they do play for 3, which is something. Have the Gabumons when attacking, trash, and then I have the Gomamons, which is actually gets cheaper to play if your opponent has cards with no digivolution cards. So this card benefits the more of the effect that you do, but it's a rookie, so I'm like, maybe there are better rookies out there. And then for eggs, Upamon is great. Upamon is card draw if they have something without anything when attacking. But I do like Bukamon because it's trash the bottom digivolution card of one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Alright, so let's try to zoom out here. Let's go slow. And so I don't have, a lot of cards. So what are some options that we could put in there? So some of these are going to be from set 5, Battle of Omni. Of course, I think we're going to be getting 4 of these. Bulukamon, trash the bottom digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then gain a memory on your turn once per turn. So that's great. You don't even have to attack. Inherited effect. Sakomon says your opponent can reduce the digivolution cost. So I think there are a few cards that may do that. So that might just be a good, vanilla replacement for some of those. And then I realized that the Gomamon from the starter pack costs 2. So it's like, why did I take that out and why did I put those in? Not really sure. Other options, so Gessamon evolves for 3. I mean, you play for 3. It's pretty cheap. Lobomon is the win condition, so if you have a tamer out, then you can just attack. Pelagiumon is the new Battle of Omni Level 4 champion, trash up to 2 digivolution cards when digivolving. That's great. And then you have a Coelomon, which is a blocker, evolves for 1, which is also great. Crispalagramon does the same, digivolving trash, and then inherited effect. If your opponent has a Digimon with no digivolution cards, security attack +1. That's awesome. Marine Devimon is a evolve for 2. That's great. Magnangemon is another when attacking trash. Weregurumon, I think it gives. We already have some of those in there, but I just put it there because it's like, well, maybe we want more. And then rolling over, Hexeblaumon is the main star. I have one, but I think I'm gonna get more. So when attacking, trash the digivolution cards. Then if they have something with known, jam, which is great. And then all turns, opponent's Digimon with no digivolution cards can attack or block. So definitely want a lot of it, because not only does it do the thing where it trashes, but it also has a secondary effect where it kind of freezes them if they have no digivolution cards. So that's great. And then back here I put Saberleomon when digivolving trash 4 digivolution cards under one of your opponent's Digimon. But I think there's so much of that effect in the broader deck that I probably will be unnecessary. And then other things to think about, the new tamers are great. So they give you, cost twice as much as the mat with the 2. But it does give you 2 memory to start a turn. And then if you attack with the blue Digimon, then you can suspend to trash up to 2 digivolution cards. So it's just great. Definitely going to be putting all 3 in there, maybe get a 4th. Heart Attack, trash all the digivolution cards under one of your opponent's Digimon, so that's great. I'll drag you into the depths, and I think I've been thinking of this card wrong. So what it does, all of your Digimon gain your turn when attacking an opponent's Digimon with no digivolution cards, delete that Digimon for the turn. So my thought was, well, maybe you could attack with a strong Digimon and just kill them. But actually what you would want to do is you'd want to attack with your rookies. I just realized. So they attack with their mega whatever, right? You attack with your rookie after playing that card, and then you just killed that card, right? With the rookie. So you get rid of your rookie. So I just realized that this card might be way better than I initially thought. So we'll see. Sorrow Blue, I have 2 more from the starter, so I might put those in. And then Absolute Blast. So I'm going to put that here. Trash the bottom digivolution of one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck. This is removal. It's pretty good removal. They need something at the bottom of their digivolution stack. Kakaida's Breath costs 1 more, and I think it bounces to their hand. Return one of your opponent's Digimon to its owner's hand. Trash the digivolution cards. So this is just more neutrally good for removal. Sort of, it bounces things to their hand, but it costs 7, right? And 7 is a lot, especially if your opponent gives you 1, 2, 3. You play 7, you automatically give them 4. If they have their own version of these tamers, and they can get some more. So, something to think about. But I'm gonna stop for now. We're going to set up the camera so there's less movement, and then we'll see what makes more sense. All right, so what are we looking at so far? So I made some changes. Took out the vanillas that were just play for 3. So I put in some Golomons that play for 2. I did put in the Bolukumon, which benefits from the ability. And then I saw, when I was putting the cards back, I saw this, and I'm like, So here's a potential combo, right? So you get your Bukumon, which trash the bottom digivolution card of one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon when attacking. Evolve it into Vmon, right? So you attack, you do the ability, and then when you unsuspend, you get to draw the card. And then I realized that there's a lot of cards in here that actually benefit from attacking, right? So, let's just say you have something like this, right? So you digivolve into this, you attack. Let's see, is everything in the camera? Yes, it is. Right, and so when attacking, you trash. When attacking, you trash. And then on your turn, when you unsuspend, you get to draw. So I think there's a lot of cards in this deck that have when attacking abilities. And so I think, there might be a place for some Vmons. So you know, again, definitely will need to play test. So we'll see. So I put those in there. The ones over here. Sorry. And so I think, you know, that was kind of my thought into like, oh, how are we going to make this work? I think that might be one of the ways to make this a little bit more interesting. What else? I only have 3 of these, so you know, this is just a stand-in, but it has a nice, interesting ability. So on deletion, gain a memory, so never hurts. I like Anjumon. I like Anjumon generally. It has a when attacking ability, but did I put this over here? But I mean, this one is stronger. So I don't know. I mean, I guess if you hard play this one, this is cheaper. There's some pros and cons here. Anyway, so I'm going to continue editing, moving stuff around, deleting things. So I still have the rest of the board over here as well, and then we'll catch up in a minute. Power of YouTube, go. Okay, and we're back. So, you know, I have a lot of thoughts. You know, I think, you know, I switched out the blocker. This one evolves for 1. Put in 2 of these, and you know, there's just different ways when you play in a game this could play out. So one of the things that I would want to avoid would be like you get these cards with these rookies. These rookies don't do the effect, or they benefit from the effect, right? Whereas these don't actually do the effect themselves, and so that'd be a problem. On the other hand, I would hate to draw a bunch of these and then I don't get any rookies. You get bricked out, right? And so you kind of have a trouble. And then this is where Anjumon comes back. Anjumon you can play for 4, doesn't do the effect. But then when you evolve it, right? So you get the Crisp Paladramon, evolve it to something else, then you can start attacking, start swinging, and then you do the effect. So again, I'm just thinking about different things. One of the things that I think I will do, Mega Digimon can't be blocked by the people without the digivolution cards, but they just need 1, and then this is not blockable. And then of course it has power 8, so if you swing into security, you know, there could be a mega there, and then it removes this. If you build up a line into this, that leads into problems too. So I'm not sure I'm going to be keeping these. On the other hand, I like the Agunimon inherited effect, so I'm probably going to put these and just have 4 of these in here, because this makes the megas security attack +1, and that's always great. I do think, you know, Zudomon on Digivolve is trash 2. Crisp Paladramon is like a 1-for-1 improvement, basically, because it trashes the bottom of all of them, and then of all of your opponent's Digimon, and then if your opponent has a Digimon with no digivolution cards, gain security attack +1, inherited. Great inherit effect. It's actually the same as a Garurumon. A little bit more expensive to play if you hard play it. Well, I guess either way, I do think this beats this, and I do think maybe I don't want 4 of these. Maybe I still want to keep the 2, and then instead have more of these. I don't know, but it's different. And you know, the other thought I had was, what if, you know, I have a lot of rookies that aren't exactly carrying the weight here. You know, Goemon's 2, and you know, have the blocker and stuff. But so what if I take those out and put 2 Anjumons in here, right? Because it plays for 4, right? I have other rookies that cost 4 to hard play. And so maybe if I do this, you know, I have more champions, and then that makes it easier to get to level 5. And then level 5 is where I have the Crisp Paladramon, which is a digivolution effect, right? Works great with this. And then Inherited, which, you know, is also great. You know, I think there's some good choices here. I do think, given some of the good, you know, this would be great if I had like a ton of megas. Then I'm like, oh, I want to just, you know, play this, get this out there really fast, and then evolve into a mega. But I do think that there's enough meat with the level 5s that have abilities that maybe I probably won't want to go that route. So I'll edit some more, and then we'll come back later. And we're back. So analyzing the more expensive side of the deck, I do think, first of all, this trainer is just so good for this deck. It gives you memory at the start of your turn if your opponent has a Digimon with no digivolution. And second, it basically gives this effect to everything you have. Because it says, when you attack with the blue Digimon, you may suspend this tamer to trash 2 digivolutions of the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. So it's actually even a little bit better than one of these. the fact that this is like a blanket remove the digivolution cards and the blanket trigger the effect is just so good. And sorry Matt, you are really good, but like I'd rather pay the 4 and get this one. I'd rather get attacked by security and pull this one. It is just that strong of a tamer. If I could run 8 of these, I would run 8 of these. And so I did take out the other mat tamers. I mean, maybe like a version of this that could deal with like 2 mats and 4 of these. That way you have 6 total. And if you have, if one of your opponent has the effect, right, with no digivolution, then you get like so much memory to start your turn. But you have to sacrifice other things, and I'm not sure about that. Of course, long run, I do think we're going to have 4 of these. So in the meantime, I'm going to put more of these. And the deck originally had 4 megas, just because I had more options. But I do think, kind of going forward, we're going to be taking out these Death Parade blasters, just because now we have a trainer that does the effect, right? I mean, not exactly, not 1 for 1. But this costs 3 and it does the effect. And I do think, long run, I'm going to be wanting to run that tamer, which does the effect. Hammer Spark is just such a natural good card. It's great when it's attacked in security, right? Because it can swing it back to your turn. Absolute Blast, I do think, is better than Kakaita's Breath because it triggers the effect. And the second, it it's removal. It's pretty good removal if the condition is met. And I do think with this deck that'll be pretty regular occurrence. So I think long run probably have 2 of the Vikimons, since because you search security attack +1. That's great. I do think we're gonna have 4 of the Hexeblaumon, and so right now I have these as stand-ins, but as the set gets released, we'll go into those. And I like the Sorrow Blues. It's just like a 1 turn like messes with something. And then we have these, which are cheaper. But then something to think about this one is that it only triggers when you attack them, and they have to be suspended for that. So I think we're, potentially if there was a way to suspend, that might be useful. And ironically, Death Parade Blaster does suspend, but only if you have a green Digimon, and so, but this deck doesn't really do that. So I do think we're gonna not go with that route. And then I think there's six options. We're gonna have the 4 trainers, so I am gonna make that a Sora and a Joe in long run. We're gonna have 4 Hexeblaumons. We're gonna have 2 of these, so 6 total. And then I think the Chris Paledramon I like because it's when Digivolving and it has the inherited effect, and so it does both. So the Mega Digimon will be a stand-in, and in the long run I'll get another one. The Piranhamon, so I like this one over things like, say, Magnangemon, because it trashes the top. This one trashes the bottom. And so I think there's a lot of things that trash the bottom. So the trainer, this one does trash the bottom. This one's trash the bottom. And I do think just trashing the top just gives you like a little bit more variety. For the eggs, this one's trash the bottom, only for level 4s. But it gets the ball rolling early in the game. Gabumon's trash the bottom. And so I do think the deck is coming together. I feel like there's enough things that benefit from the effect of no digivolution. So that'll be this one, that'll be this one, right? So once you get to level 5, you swing harder. I do think 4 blockers is great. And I thought about what we said earlier with putting the Angemons in here. I think this is where like the place testing is really, really important. I think there's a potential for putting more Vmons in here, right? So maybe taking out the Gomamons, putting in more Vmons. Or maybe even taking out the blocker and putting in these just to get to level 5s quicker, level 5s with the effect. Not sure. Or maybe I just, there's enough of the Soras and the trainers in here that like this is regular enough that you don't need the inherited effect, and then you can just do other stuff. So not sure, really have to play test. I do think maybe the Vmons is like the most likely thing that I'm gonna put in here. But we'll see. And then of course, one more of these. I do think the Gomamon is just here as a stand-in, but I mean, I don't know. If you're playing, which one do you want to see, right? Start of the game, you want to see these. Later on, where you're like, I just need to get a dude out there, you can get one of these. So we'll see. I do like my mix of 2/2 here, and that's the deck, I think. So we'll play test. Thank you guys for listening. And I did want to make a plug for some things that, you know, I got the Battle of Omni Booster box, and I did get an Armageddemon. I think Digimon is strong. You can, you know, saw some other YouTubes and explaining how they can evolve this on top of a Digimon token. That's strong. And then, you know, there's the Omnimons, and so I do think these cards may make a better home elsewhere. They're really rare, and so you know, I'll link up to my eBay if there's that interest in anybody. Go ahead, take a look. So they'll be there for a week, and yeah, leave your comments below on what you think of this deck. You know, I do think, you know, one of the things I'm mindful of is price. I do see these going for, you know, not super expensive. I'm not sure about the Soras. I mean, definitely, right, this will be like the most expensive, then this one, then this one. So obviously I would go for one of these. Upamon is pricey. That's why I think only 2 is enough. These are cheap. And this is probably going to be the biggest expense. I don't think the V-Bombs will be too much. You know, I don't think these will be too much. These are rares, normal rares. The Hexeblaumon, I think, you know, they're uncommon, so probably not too much, you know, just to get the 4th to round that out. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Take care and good luck with the games.